Hey, what's up everyone? It's Rinku. It's time to see what changed on Valentine's Day while we look through the February 14th patch notes. Surprisingly, we have a ton of new events that started. The first one we should look at is the drop rate for hardened sharps have been temporarily increased for Valentine's Day. It should be noted, it's been temporarily increased for 2 weeks. That is huge, that is so awesome. It's great. Next up, we also have Valentine's Day Screenshot, just another screenshot event. If anyone's interested in that, there is one. But most of the events for Valentine's Day actually have their own special page. So this is the page for the 3 main Valentine's Day events. Event 1 is Love in a Bottle, and it's all about fishing. Basically, just fish, and eventually you will get a message in a bottle. You can right click this to open and receive a various amount of quests and items. So basically, you open one and you get a quest, and the quest will be random, and you can either get rewards of contribution experience, memory fragments, or various amounts of silver. So overall, it's pretty good. I don't know what the quests entail, but it should be pretty simple and just a simple way to get some pretty cool rewards. Event 2 is Chocolate Fun, and the goal of this event is to get the cocoa from defeating monsters or gathering. Once you have the cocoa, you can grind the cocoa into cocoa powder, and you can make cocoa powder into cocoa chocolate. Now, the reason why you'd want to do this is for knowledge, because cocoa chocolate gives knowledge gain chance plus 7% and higher grade knowledge gain chance plus 3%. That's hard to say. But it does so for 30 minutes. And it's great because they actually have changed the knowledge system quite a bit recently in the game, and there's actually reason to go out and kill random monsters and increase your knowledge because you don't have to reset it anymore, and it does go to your ecology total level, increasing drop chance and all that crazy new stuff. So overall, this is just inspiring everyone to look at the new changes and take advantage of it. This will help you, so it's a pretty good event, I think. Event 3 is all about sending your love. If you can play it for an hour a day, you will receive a sweet gift letter, and I believe you can receive one every single day for the next week, which is pretty crazy. Now with this letter, if you haven't sent it already, you have to send it to someone and it contains a sweet gift box. However, whoever you send it to also gets a reply letter, and this reply letter also has a box that they have to send to someone else. So the trick here is that when you send the original letter to someone, they have complete control over who they send the reply letter to. They get to send it to someone else, they could just let it sit there if they're a dick, but yeah, there's no guarantee that they'll send it back to you unless they truly love you, I guess. So that's where this is going to be interesting. Now, everyone should receive the original letter. Some people might trade it, some people might try to sell it for something. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting event, and it's gonna be pretty cool. Now, the reason why you would want the box that it gives is because the box can give any of these things. And I'll just point out that there's memory fragments, Laverto, Advice of Valks, Ogring, and Zarka, as well as several other things in between. So it's a lot of good stuff that you could get in there, and it's pretty interesting event. Back to the patch notes, and actually everything I want to look at is right here under item changes. First up, we have some new items that have been added to the guild shop: fresh orange juice, sweet wild berry juice, and sour green grape juice. Also, something questionable, the golden bell? What? Alright, well first of all, let's tackle these juices. Any guildmaster, officer, or quartermaster even can buy these new juices from the guild shop, and they increase your health, breath, and strength experience significantly, and with absolutely no cooldown, up to level 30. So 1 to 30, you could literally buy the juices and spam right click them until you hit 30. That's it. Now, they are quite a bit of silver. I'm not sure how much it would cost to go from 1 to 30 in any of these categories, but it's very interesting that this now exists. It's a way to kinda power level your health, breath, and strength level without having to actually train them, but only up to level 30, and the max, by the way, is 50. It was changed from 30 to 50 a long time ago, and even though I've been playing this game since launch, I'm level 33, 35 at most in those categories, not even close to 40. 50 is even 50 is a myth. I'd be surprised if anyone has 50 at any of these things, but 30 will now be spam clickable with juices. It's an interesting thought. Alright, and of course I did have to see what the golden bell costs, because I was just like, what the fuck? You can buy a golden bell? This is exactly identical to all the other golden bells in the game, except for this one you can buy with guild funds. And it is 1 bill. I could afford it with my guild funds. My guild would yell at me though. It's interesting that it exists. It's going to be really cool for guilds that maybe don't care about paying out their members, or guilds that are just sitting on tons of money and have nothing to do with or something. Or if they just want to grind, if they're a guild all about grinding, they'd rather buy a gold bell and pay out that to people. It's a pretty convincing option, honestly. And those are also the 3 juices at 300k, 400k, and 500k each. So I just had to go in game, check the price of these things, because I find it hard to believe that there's actually a golden bell in a guild shop, but there it is. So back to the notes. Also, don't worry about any of your guild members trying to buy the golden bell, because only the guild master can purchase it. Now on to the rest of the item changes. So this next change is pretty hype until you read the next few lines under it. We're just gonna go with it though. The Book of Combat for 1 day has been added to Patrigo's secret shop, the Night Vendor. Now this is pretty awesome, because 1 day gives you a whole day of Book of Combat, and also at the very end you can pop the Book of Combat buff to last another 24 hours, and since it's a buff, you can actually log out and preserve it, so it can actually last you a few days. And I already have seen a screenshot of Patrigo selling it for like 8 mil, which is not that bad at all. I would literally buy that on the spot every time, probably. Now, what's questionable is what's next. The Sealed Book of Combat and Blessing of Commissal for 15 days is now sellable on the cash shop for about $12.50 USD, and can be registered on the marketplace. Blessing of Commissal being able to be registered next week. So I'm sure a lot of people don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I could see it probably coming though. They were basically giving these things out like candy from events. I myself have literally like 8 Book of Combats since they announced lawn, just waiting for lawn. Like a few 7 days and like a 20-day saved up. But yeah, like I could have seen it coming, and I can't really imagine much else that they could add to the cash shop that's just aggravating, but this is definitely one of them. It's just like things that you don't really want to see, things that you don't want to have to fight over the marketplace to be able to obtain, or have to spend real money to obtain. But the fact that they added the 1 day in the Night Vendor is a really nice option, because like I said, you can make it last for a few days, and also you can buy 1 day versions for loyalties as well, for both the Book of Combat and Blessing of Commissal. Now, I'm curious to see whether Blessing of Commissal will come to the Night Vendor in a 1 day version, maybe next week, because they don't mention that anywhere here, but that would be very nice as well. Before we look at the cash shop, I do quickly want to explain why I specifically don't agree with this one update to the cash shop, and that's simply because the Sealed Book of Combat, I mean, Blessing of Commissal aside, the Book of Combat gives experience, and for a lot of players, leveling up in this game is very important. Now, if you're going to stop at like level 60, it may not be as important. You may not think twice about how important it could be, but think about the people that are grinding level 62 and even 63. They're people that are grinding every day for months, for several hours a day, and etc. And the Book of Combat gives XP, on top of the value pack that gives XP, that people probably are already buying. But before, I would save combat books for like actually grinding a specific set of days, going really hard, or now I stopped using them to save for a future character. However, after this update, the only reason I have for not popping a Book of Combat is that I can't afford to buy more. There's no other excuse. I could buy them at any point in time, and there's no limiting factor as long as I have real life money. However, if I can't afford to buy these combat books, then I cannot efficiently grind because I won't be able to min-max my experience rates. Now, this is coming from a player who plays every single day and has the mindset of competing for the highest level in the game in a game that has no highest level. However, it's so weird for a game with so many catch-up mechanics to have a buyable way to significantly increase your experience rates even at the highest levels in the game, while new players who cannot afford this may not reliably be able to constantly pop this buff. In fact, if you are a new player, I highly recommend you spend $50 to $100 on other really useful permanent items in the cash shop, rather than ever waste money on this temporary buff. Sorry for going so hard in my own opinions. Let me know what you guys think on this controversial topic, and now let's look at the cash shop. I almost forgot about the cash shop. So we've been talking so much about it, but let's see what they actually added to the cash shop. And first up, we have the premium rookie pack. So this comes with the cowboy dog, inventory expansion, weight increasement, horse flute, and the new book, sealed book of combat. And I believe the weight and inventory is probably more than this next pack, this basic rookie pack. It's half the price and contains the same items, but like I said, I'm sure the weight and inventory is a little bit less, and it also has a cat instead of the cowboy dog. So pretty interesting packs. You cannot purchase them if you already have the weight or if you've already purchased the pack itself, but it's a pretty cool addition. I don't know, it's good for those new players if they want to get a bundle. And they also have the Heidel Masquerade outfits for every single class. So if you watch my old videos around the time Dark Knight was coming out, we actually had this release last year, and I had a white version of the Heidel Masquerade costume for my Dark Knight. So yeah, it's the same costume, just dyed it white. It's been a lot of my videos, a lot of people ask me what outfit it is, and it's the Heidel Masquerade outfit. Haven't worn it in a while, but maybe I should have worn that for the video. But it's a very nice outfit, I do have to say. I like it a lot. And all the way at the bottom here, there is some Valentine's Day furniture, but more importantly, what we've been talking about, Blessing of Comsilv and Sealed Book of Combat in the cash shop for both pearls and loyalties. So I think that's about wraps up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be more in time, more content coming out soon. I promise you. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.